Assalamu alaikum. In this video I'll be making a calculator using assembly language and Atmel Studio and Proteus. So we'll make a simple calculator which will which will take two input numbers and a sign input, which will be addition or subtraction, and then perform the particular function. So yeah, first of all I've loaded a value hexadecimal value of ff in register 30, and here I have declared set all the pins of the port C to output direction, and then I've called a delay, and then here is a before calling the delay I've given a high output at the port C pin 0, and then after delay I am switching it off. This will help me indicate me then when I have to give the input to the keypad. Then similarly the delay is repeated, and then have stored a 0 value hexadecimal value in register 16, and ff hexadecimal value in register 17, and again and set the port B, all pins of port B and the input direction, and all the pins of the port D and the output direction. In input 1 I am taking the first input, which will be taken from pin port B and will be stored in the 18th register. After that I have created labels for all the different numbers. So as you know, the keypad doesn't give the it doesn't give us the binary output of the number we press. It gives us another value. So to convert that value and to recognize that value, and when the user presses 0, we are storing 0 to make that sure. We are here storing a value of output that the keypad gives when 0 is pressed, that is 0 1, and I'm storing it into register 19, and then I'm subtracting it with the input which is being given by the user, which is stored in the register 18. When these both numbers will be subtracted, if the user has pressed 0, the subtraction of these two, register 19 and 18, will give us 0. So when we will reach this brne command, it will not go it will not run, it will not go to 1, it will store it will not go directly to 1, but it will store 0 in register 20. Similarly, if another key is pressed instead of 0, what will happen? The subtraction will give us a answer which will be greater than 1 and greater than 0, sorry, and this brne command will be executed, and we will without storing 0 in register 20, we'll just move to the 1 to check if the input is 1 or 10 2, and similarly I have created all these 9 was 0 to 9 digit labels to check if input is from anywhere between 0 to 9. After that we'll be taking the sign as input. So again, to indicate that it's time to give the second input, I have just switched on and off the 0 pin of port C with a delay, and then taken the input at pin port B and stored it in register 21, and then we will take the third input, which will be the second number. After the sign we will be taking the number. Again, LED is being switched on and off at pin 0 of port C, and by that we will be indicated that it's time to give the third input, and this will be taken again from port B and stored into register 23. And similarly again we will check that what the input is 0 1 2 3, like we did in the previous input 1. So similarly same thing will be repeated, and this time the second input number, which will be the third input or user input, will be stored in the register 25. So now our register 25 has the second number input, a register 20 has the first input number, and a register 21 has the sign which is being given in the input. After that we will be calculating the result, and then we have two functions, plus and minus. So if the addition key is pressed, so again 0 is 0 is the combination at the when we press the plus sign. So again we'll subtract it and do the same thing here, and if the key matches, then the addition function will perform between the two number inputs which are stored in the register 20 and 25. If plus is not pressed and minus subtraction is pressed, then it will jump to here the minus, and subtraction of the both inputs will take place, and then where the last we will move towards the display in which we will just display the output or result at the port D, and then we are jumping to start to repeat this cycle for another input or another calculation. And this is the delay function here. So we know take in a counter number and store it in a register, and then we'll simply decrement that value and use the brne command to create a loop and continue it. So that is how this code is working for this calculator. Now let's look at the Proteus implementation simulation. So here is the keypad with the output LED here and the Atmel 328 here and a decoder. So let's run this and check. So first of all let me add the file. File has been added. So now let's run this. Now LED is on, so I will be giving my first input. So I am giving first input, which is 6. Now I'll press the sign, and I am pressing the addition sign here. LED is on, so at port 0 of port C, so I'm pressing now 4, which is my second number input. So our answer should be 6 plus 4, which should be 10. So in hexa it will be A, so our output should be 0A. Let's see. And here we can see our output has been changed to 0 and A, which is the addition. So now let's look at a subtraction. So first I am pressing 8, first input. And now I am pressing the subtraction sign. Second input. And third input is 6. So this should give us a answer that 8 minus 6 is equals to 2. So in a LED should display 2, 0, 2. And here we can see that our output is 0, 2. So we have successfully created a calculator using assembly language and a microcontroller. So that's all from this video.